All right, thank you very much, Dwight. There is Noureddine Morceli of Algeria. He's the world record holder in the mile. It's coming your way next. Nearly a full house here. Back with live coverage next. The world record is held by Noureddine Morceli of Algeria. 3:44.39. It was set in 1993. Morsilī also has the Goodwill Games record set 4 years ago in St. Petersburg. There you get a look at Morsilī. The best all-time performances in the men's mile. Noureddine Morceli, 3:44.39. Hisham El Garouj, you see his name prominently on that list. He is not taking part here tonight, Marty.
Yes, he just broke the 1,500-meter record, which is even more prestigious in the rest of the world than the mile. And I think Noureddine, I spoke with him for quite a while yesterday, seems very pensive. He doesn't have his old fire. He's talking to me about the humidity here, and maybe it's time for him to move up to the 5,000 meters. So I'm going to be very interested in not only how he does, but how he goes about it. The last race he was supposed to run a week ago in Europe, he withdrew at the last moment. So this is a real crossroads in his career. 7 times he was ranked #1 in the mile, 7 years in a row. No one ever came close to that.
What's your take on Daniel Komen?
Well, he's a great runner who is the first man to run 2 miles in under 8 minutes. That's 2 consecutive 4-minute miles. Ranked second in the world in the mile and second in the world in the 5,000 meters. At the Prefontaine meet, he ran a 3:50 mile. He's dropped down to the mile, I think, for 2 reasons. One, he thinks he might be able to get the world record after he's run a few of them. And secondly, if he's going to beat Gebrselassie of Ethiopia at the 5,000 meters, he's got to get faster and be able to outkick him. So it's a common strategy. But Ernie, you know, the thing that's amazing to me, years ago when the mile came up, here we got 2 of the greatest runners of all time. The mile tonight is fantastic, but it's not the thing on everybody's mind. You still got Michael Johnson, you've got Jackie Joyner-Kersee. The sport has changed a lot. It's not only the milers that are famous now.
But an old miler like you, I know you've been looking at this all day and waiting for this race. And we are nearing the start. Just a shade over 4 laps around.
Let's talk about the Americans. There's 4 Americans in this race, the top 4 from the championships. 1 good American miler, Richie Boulet, who was 5th in the Nationals, is not in the race. Other than that, we've got great representation. What's going to be the key is this is not an invitational race. There's no rabbits that are being paid to set a fast pace. So this could turn into a tactical race. But there are 2 men who could possibly be rabbits who I don't see going to the front. One is William Tanui of Kenya, who would be Komen's teammate. The other is Ahmed Krama of Algeria, who could be doing the pace work for Morsilī. But what's happened is Steve Holman has gone to the front.
One of those Americans you mentioned, along with Paul McMullen,
well,
Jamie Harris, Jason Pyra.
Steve knows that it's got to be a fast pace. He's run 5 seconds faster than any of the other Americans at the mile, although Paul McMullen has run the equivalent of a 3:52. But Steve doesn't have a great kick. He runs fast times, gets seconds, thirds, and fourth off of fast races. So in this big opportunity, he doesn't want to see a tactical race. He went out in 58 seconds. That's 3:52 mile pace, thereabouts. But he needs some help.
Steve Holman maintains the lead at this point. You look in 3rd place at Paul McMullen, a remarkable comeback story for Paul after a lawnmower accident last summer where he sliced a couple of toes. He thought he might lose his right big toe and end his career. He has come back, and he's right in the thick of things early on here in the men's mile.
He's number 40. He's got the big, broad shoulders. If it comes down to a kick, he's got a good shot. He's able to push people around and get out of problems. Morsilī, you see, wearing number 42. He's right in the thick of it. And this is what I talked about, is he running the way he used to run? I don't think so. He's not covering every move. He's either got a lot of confidence thinking that he can burst out of this pack and go right to the front when he needs to, or he's lacking confidence. Now you've got William Tanui, one of the Kenyans, pushing the pace past 1 half mile in 1:58. So the pace slowed down 2 seconds on that lap. Obviously, no one is out of the race. It's already become the kind of a race where there could be an upset.
Now number 43, Daniel Komen, surging to the front, and there you see number 42, Noureddine Morceli, on his shoulder. The race developing here about 2.5 laps in.
You see why Mursili's been number 1 7 years in a row. Almost as I was talking about it, without even noticing how he did it, he moved right up into perfect position on Komen's shoulder. This is how it should go for the rest of the race, unless somebody like Paul McMullen, number 40 there, wants to make an early move. But let's be frank. All the Americans are in awe of these two great runners, and they're playing off them. They're not going to go first.
Morsilī has taken the lead. The bell signals the last lap, and what a last lap it's going to be. Morsilī has the lead.
And it's Komen, the Kenyan, who's fake. Now there's some pushing. Somebody's gone down hard. I think Tanui is the Kenyan who's still up in second place. Holman went down. He's out of it.
That happened at the back of the pack. We will show that to you later.
So Mursili's right where he wants to be. Tanui has faded to third.
It's Morsilī and Daniel Komen. 1-2, the last lap of the men's mile. Morsilī maintains the lead as they come to the head of the stretch. Komen behind him. Noureddine Morceli, the world record holder, extending his lead. It's Morsilī. The Kenyans trying to catch him, but they won't. Noureddine Morceli wins the mile at the Goodwill Games.
And Jamie Harris was the first American across the finish line. He had somewhat of an upset victory at the American Championships. I think his performance here validates that it wasn't unexpected. Morceli, I think, is still the same old Morceli. He's just in a little bit of shock right now, having been relieved of his 1,500-meter record. Unfortunately, I think Komen got bumped when all that stuff happened with Steve Holman, and it really just threw him off. He faded a bit in the stretch. But here's Morceli, same old guy, head down, pumping the arms. Dusted Komen on that last 200 meters, 54.9 for the last 400 meters. He probably could have gone faster.
For a guy who was a little hang dog and a little, I don't know if I'm really into it, that's not a bad race, Marty. So Noureddine Morceli, winner of the men's mile. More to come here tonight. Let's check in now with Jim Lampley.
2 hours and 20 minutes still to go on our coverage.
You know, Lamps, if we promise it, we are going to show it to you. And Marty LaCory here to take a gander at what really happened here with the bump and the fall.
Well, I believe it's Komen. He makes a right-hand turn, cuts Steve off, and Steve goes down. No fault of his. There just was no time for him to react. So there could be a protest filed.
As of this point, we have heard of none. Noureddine Morceli winning in 3:53.39, with Kenyans taking the second and the third spots in the men's mile. Michael Johnson's on the track. The 400 is coming up. That comes your way in just a couple of seconds. Back to Jim Lampley.